Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Sunday, July 22nd, 2012. Thank you for joining me for ECON Update 3. My name is Ryan O'Rourke, and I will be your host for this evening. Some highlights for me on the class itself. The class was an excellent class and really exceeded my expectations. I learned more about politics, economics, and the people involved in the last 6 weeks than I have at all in the last 15 years. Excellent class, really explored some things that I just knew nothing about. I've discussed in previous vlogs the micro and the macro things that I was completely unfamiliar with. And like I said again here just in this vlog, really opened my eyes to some new things about the political process and some of the people involved who I knew very little about. The technology itself was a fantastic tool for the class. The iPad, as iPad says, is resolutionary, and I agree with them that it is a revolutionary tool. This device replaces a long list of other devices and tools that have, I guess, basically even become antiquated. Books, planners, laptops, even a television. The iPad has just been a fantastic tool for me. And I think for everyone here in the class, I myself look to really invest in an iPad in the very near future because I just think that, like I said, it replaces many antiquated tools that I carry around all day. I was using this to hold other books for other classes and really had a short bag with me every day when I went to campus because I could actually download several other books and other tools on this one device and carry just that with me, and a pen and a piece of paper, and I'm pretty set to go. I really feel lucky that we were students that were chosen to test this tool, and hopefully other students in the future will get the chance to use such a unique tool that really became an amazing tool for learning, and I look forward to using it in the future, personally, professionally, and also academically. The survey was a great tool as well. Really cool that we were able to have this iPad and get out into the field and talk to some people about some issues and some concerns and some things that they may want to talk about for the upcoming presidential election. Having the iPad too available to do it was much better than traditional paper surveys. I think that it got people more involved and it actually got them excited to use it. Technology itself is fun and fascinating for many people. Many more people would really like to sit down and play with that and touch and swipe versus the old check with a pen, fill your name out type surveys that most people are associated with. There were a few things that the survey I think missed or maybe could have just added or adapted to just make it suit our needs just a tiny bit better. A few things that we discussed along the way throughout our 6 weeks together. The media choice, obviously we have a wide variety of age ranges, and I think that the option was there for where you get your news, media, whatnot. I think internet was a sufficient choice for many, but I think that a lot of the younger generation, the Gen Y, 18 to 25s, were really looking for that choice of Twitter. I know myself, even beyond that generation, probably get a majority of my news from Twitter, even though it does come from some of the sources such as the CNN or even Fox or NPR. I feel that to include them all into one section together under Twitter would just kind of give some of those younger people, and maybe even some people like myself, the option to make that connection. Another thing that I think was missing just a tiny bit was the question on where will the economy be in 6 months. Another thing we touched on in class here too, maybe saying, could there have been a second question right after this, where will the economy be in 18 months? Obviously in 6 months we see what's going on with our political process right now, and in 6 months really what's going to happen? Probably nothing. I think we're going to be looking at a stalemate until November. So I think that the question of 18 months really gives people a different perspective to think about who possibly may be in office in 18 months, and it will be the end of their first term, so most of the handshaking and the foreign country visits will be over with, and some of the real policy may have been taking place, whether it's President Obama's re-election or Governor Romney's first term. So I think that that could have been a really neat question to add to the survey, to allow people to really forecast what they think may happen after this election. The readings themselves were also really beneficial to the learning and to the development of the class and what we did over the last 6 weeks. The first book we read by Haidt, The Righteous Mind, explored the idea of how and why we are righteous. It shed light on how people make decisions and why they make decisions. In transition, the next book by Johnson and Quack, The White House Burning, looked more at the economic principles than the morality issues and kind of helped these two tie together. Haidt's book, morality, Johnson and Quack's book, really focusing on principle, and it led for good discussion here towards the end, and we can all kind of see why people are making these economic decisions about these principles that they may have. The supplemental readings from Blackboard that have been posted on topics such as where we are today, current events, have been also key in finding out where we're going in this decision, in this economy. And again, too, the supplemental area where we were allowed to post our own stuff that we found in the news was another great place for us to really explore what we're seeing and what's going on out there, and to use these things to further our discussions for our video blogs. Overall, the class was really good, and I really felt like I took a lot away from the class. I think that the discussions were great, and I think that we had a really good group of people involved that led the discussions to a place that didn't violate anybody else's opinions, but really allowed us to voice our own opinions. Professor Zinn also did a really good job of prompting us when we needed that little extra push to keep the discussions going. And he really allowed us to move the discussion in a place that discussed things that may not get discussed in every other class. I feel that myself, I'll be able to look at things from a little bit of a different view now and make a decision based on knowledge that I've gained. I'm looking forward to following the election and the economy straight through to November and seeing where it takes us in the future past November. I just want to say thank you for a great class. The only thing I think we were missing is some outspoken Republicans in our class to really spur the debate a little bit. Thank you again for joining me on ECON Update 3, and I look forward to seeing all of you in classes again in the future here at University of Richmond.